is I'd like to move that we reassign 3 maintenance workers to the detention center under the sheriff's direction. These 3 people would still be our responsibility maintenance, but report directly to the sheriff for the work that they need to do there at the detention center. So I'll make that in the form of a motion.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Discussion?
Yes, I asked Mr. Harrington if he'll come to the mic. And while he's coming, Mr. President, I'm concerned about this item for more than one reason. The next reason is we don't have the jail administrator. You know, we're doing all this stuff. The judge gave us directions, and we have a report from the grand jury, but we haven't got the jail administrator yet. Now, how are we moving people from one department of the county to another dealing with this jail, but no jail administrator? Suppose the jail administrator don't agree with it. Suppose it's more, but I'll use Mr. Harrington first. I know you called some time ago and made the same suggestion. I told him the same thing. Where's the jail administrator? Mr. Harrington.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. President, Board of Supervisors. In the request coming from Supervisor Greer, the beginning of this fiscal year, I had 5 positions eliminated from the department. 4 of those positions were assigned to the Raymond Detention Center. And they've been taken away from me now. And the current, right now that we're using, the guys that we're using now to do work in the Raymond Detention Center are not protected by the Sheriff's Department. They are not protected. My guys feel hostile when they go into the environment. I have no problem with assigning positions, with y'all approving assigning positions to the Sheriff's Department, but to pull those positions from the ones that were taken from me.
Ms. Harrington, early on you called.
Yes.
And you made the suggestion to send some of the maintenance over to the
Right.
Sheriff's Department.
Right.
So this is nothing new, right?
There's nothing new, and those positions were taken from the beginning of this year.
Well, I think what you're saying now, you want to reclaim those positions and send those over to the jail. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, now that's my first concern. The second concern is what I stated before, is dealing with the jail administrator. You know, it's in clear language that it's stated as soon as possible. We should have this jail administrator. We haven't had the jail administrator. Don't you think the jail administrator would want to have some input on this? Would members of the board think that that's why they did this report and everything? Now, we're going to send some people over there that's not budgeted. I think you said they're not budgeted, right?
Right.
Are they budgeted?
And I'm not talking about sending the people that's currently in my department,
That's what I'm
because
saying.
they're not protected, they do not feel safe. The new maintenance people that go into the jail need to go under the same certification that the deputies do. They need to be protected, they need to be able to carry tasers, a pepper spray, a mace, like the deputies do, because the guys, the maintenance workers that go in the building now, they've come to me numerous times. It's like playing Russian roulette with their lives.
I'd like to ask Chief Deputy Piku to address this matter
Okay.
about the safety of workers.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
To my knowledge, not any maintenance person has been assaulted, harmed, had any injury. So this accusation that they're not safe is unfounded to me. I know nothing about it.
Okay. Supervisor McQuaid.
You answered part of my question as to where you wanted the employees to come from, whether it's existing or coming from the reassignment of new budgets. I also understand the fact that even though none have ever been assaulted, none of the employees have ever been assaulted, there's still a personal concern when you're not accustomed to working in that particular environment. So I do understand the concerns there. My question to Piku while he's there, is that if the positions are under maintenance and assigned to the sheriff department, would that be a difficult task for you all to find people adequate to do that particular work that you know that needs to be done? A lot of times we are making decisions regarding work that we're not familiar with in an environment that we're not familiar with. So your department will probably be a little wiser in understanding who would need to fill those type of positions. Is that something that you all would be willing to address if you got the 3 positions?
If we got the 3 positions and the funding to fix the problems that exist at the detention center. But as far as security, we can provide security as we have for Nelson Electric, who we provided security for them when they come in and work. So we can make adjustments as long as the board is aware of it when we bring maintenance in there. Yes, sir.
And I agree that we do need to act as quickly as we can regarding the jail administrator, but based off of your situation you're in, some things can't wait, can't continually be put off. You need somebody in maintenance to continue to do those repairs. So.
Yes, sir. We need somebody in maintenance, and we need the funding set aside for the jail administrator. The funding hadn't been set aside for us to hire one yet.
Okay, yeah, just 1 second, let me go to Ms. Calhoun, I think, then we'll come right back to you. Ms. Calhoun?
Yes, I was going to ask that question. Has the funding been allocated to the sheriff's department to hire the jail administrator? But likewise, I'm sure the sheriff's department has made this request. What are the benefits of having 3 assigned technicians to provide maintenance to the jail?
Well, those technicians will answer to the jail administrator and the warden, so we will be able to have things fixed in a timely manner that we need fixed, and we can prioritize what we need fixed, not having somebody else do that for us. So we'll be able to see a problem, a roof, a leak, or whatever, and we can then direct those people to fix that problem right then.
Okay. Mrs. Davis?
I want to address a couple of points that were brought out. Regarding funding, funding has been set aside in the budget regarding this. As we had received the grand jury report, we certainly assessed the requirements and have set aside the funding needs based on those requirements. So the funding is there for the jail administrative salary and supporting staff,
Okay.
as required by the grand jury. The second item regarding the maintenance issue, I do want to inform the board there is a meeting tomorrow with the monitors for the grand jury report to discuss this issue on the processing of maintenance issues for the jail. So I wanted to make you aware that this issue is still being discussed and ironed out with the monitors in the jail, just to make sure that we're following through with our grand jury requirements.
Supervisor Stokes and Supervisor Calhoun.
Mr. President, I think there was a lot of talk being said, but I don't want to miss the issue that Mr. Harrington stated. And that issue, these are positions that no longer exist. So you got to now try to find some money to fund those 3 positions. Now, we're not talking about 3 positions that's already in his office and you're going to transfer them over to the sheriff, the salaries and everything else. And Chief Petrie, I'm hoping, I hope I'm hearing that you're saying don't just transfer the position, transfer the money with the position. Are you saying that also?
Well, I think the motion was to transfer 3 people, which would come under us, but still be paid out of Mr. Harrington's budget. But I'm saying that we also need the funding to make sure that we get the funding to fix the things that need to be fixed that these people be working on.
So, all right, now, Mr. Harrington, is that what you're agreeing upon? Well, say it in the microphone.
No, sir. No, I'm not agreeing. What I'm saying, the maintenance division, since the last 2 years, the maintenance division has been picked out to be picked on. I've been called murderer by the sheriff department. I've been called all kind of names. My guys do not feel safe working in the Raymond Detention Center. One has quit. The ones that's been assigned to the Raymond Detention Center, one has quit, and that position was taken from me. The other to present the other two. One is quit, the other one retired. And we have one deceased member that was assigned to the Raymond Detention Center. The guys that we've been sending there do not feel safe. My guys has
That's
been,
what Mr.
I just, one more thing. The other guys has been assigned to the jail, was accused of assisting an inmate on escaping. And that person is still on suspension. The maintenance division has been picked out to be picked on with this administration. And my guys are not going to work in the Raymond Detention Center, the ones there now, because they are afraid of their lives. They're not being protected. I have letters from vendors stating that they had a problem with security at the Raymond Detention Center. I have letters and emails from vendors stating issues with the security. We fix one thing one day, it's tore up the next day. The yellow line is right there. There's no consequences to the yellow line anymore. There's no consequences to that yellow line. And my guys, my maintenance guys, we just fighting a losing battle.
Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Calhoun and Mr. Greer.
Yes, there was mention that the monitoring team should review the decision that this board is making. Let me just say, I think there needs to be a clear understanding as to the role of the monitoring team. The monitoring team is to go in to look at the situation, evaluate, observe, to make sure that everybody that's concerned, whether it's the inmates or employees, are being protected, are being secure, and that all of the maintenance issues surrounding the detention center be corrected. However, the monitoring team cannot establish policy for the board of supervisors. So let's make sure that we understand the difference between the two and establish the boundaries of the monitoring team. And again, that team cannot establish policy for county government.
Supervisor Greer.
I just want to clarify the motion. Mr. Piku hit the nail on the head, is that we will be transferring. The motion is to transfer existing employees under the direction of the sheriff. And the motion did not include Mr. Harrington's approval. So that's my motion.
Okay. Any additional statements?
Supervisor.
Mrs. Davis?
I'm not sure, and certainly with all due respect to Supervisor Greer's concern, and I know what we're trying to address, and certainly want to get there. But at one time, just as way of background, there was a time when the sheriff did request the maintenance staff, and then turned around and said that he did not want the maintenance staff. So I just want to make sure, has this been in support, has the sheriff been in support of the maintenance staff coming into the facility and being under his supervision? Because this has been on the table before, and he has, he declined.
Motion on the floor, Mr. President.
Okay. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of? Opposed to?
No.
Nay. Motion passes. Okay.
What's the other vote, Mr. President?
See? It was 3-2. I voted against it, you voted against it, and the other supervisor voted for it. Okay?
I ain't gonna say anything, Mr. President.
They were voted by silence in agreement of it. Okay. Mrs. Calhoun?
I feel confident that the sheriff's department will provide the security for the employees as they provide security for the inmates. I just do not see the sheriff's department allowing individuals, any individuals, to go into the detention center and move on.
Supervisor Stokes?
Thank you, Mr. President. I know we left item number 1, but my question was to Mr. Freelix, that CMPDD money we have for streets. We had a match for that.
It was declared in the motion to come from the 2007 bond fund.
Okay, the match is there.
Right, and I'll be sending each of the supervisors a memo exactly
Okay.
explaining
I was just asking, I talked to the man, he asked me about the match. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, Supervisor Greer, continue, please.
Okay, the next item that I have is just some board appointments. First one being to the Jackson Hines Library. Ms. Ann Laster, she's currently serving in that capacity. And I've gotten a letter from Ann Biddick, the chairman of the Jackson Hines Library Board of Trustees, that she is a very diligent member and has been to the last 35 of 37 meetings, so therefore I would like to reappoint her to that board.
Okay. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of? Opposed to?
Now, this will be appointment.
It's a reappointment for the period December 2013 to December 2018.
The only thing about this one, I don't mind supporting it, is that prior term appointments issue. Because this is going to another term. And Lee, I know y'all looking at prior term appointments. Do y'all want to speak on it, or?
Supervisor Stokes, you are correct. We are looking at prior term appointments. The largest question that we've run across is in previous years' minutes. We don't know who was appointed at what terms. And that's been our bigger concern, not just that the appointment goes into a future term. We're still trying to sort through that. My legal advice would be you can vote to support this, those of you who want to. If we find out that the appointment is indeed improper, we will bring that back before the board. We have nothing on its face to indicate it's going to be improper.